What's going on, guys? In this episode, I'm going to talk about lessons learned that I learned this week in the fly bodies world from a business standpoint. I think it's always helpful to hear people's experiences when they're going through their business journey, because for me, the business world is always changing. It's always something that I feel like I learn something new every week. And so hopefully these 3 lessons learned helped you. The first one that I'll talk about is you kind of never know specifically when a new customer is going to actually want to use your services. Now, you have some customers that are like, hey, this sounds awesome, let's start tomorrow. Then you have some customers that say, yep, not for us. But then you have other customers that kind of string you along a little bit. And you have to kind of know how much effort to put towards getting those customers that are stringing you along. So what I'll use the example of is I had a school that I reached out to 3 years ago when I first started working at the first school, Chadwick School, doing a wellness program right there. And I was like, man, this is awesome. I need to reach out to every school in America. So I reached out to this one school after I started working at Chadwick, and I was like, hey, we're doing this wellness program at Chadwick. I'd love to do it at your school. What do you think? So they got back to me and they said, this sounds interesting. Let's have a phone call or schedule a meeting to hear more about it. Well, this was 3 years ago, and I'll just go ahead and tell you, they reached out to me 2 weeks ago, and this is probably the first time we'll actually be doing wellness services with them at their school. And so what I'll say about that is going into it, you feel confident. Like if somebody wants to talk to you, you're like, okay, I can sell this person on wanting to do my services because I know our wellness services are awesome and they'll be super beneficial for the faculty and staff members at your school. But one thing you may not know is you don't know if this person has enough funds to use your services, and you don't know if it's the right time for them to use your services because you just don't understand like what they're going through in their life or what the school's going through, something like that. Anyways, to the point of you don't want to just continue to bother these people, in my opinion, because then you're just kind of got to be off-putting. And if they're at a certain point, you just kind of have to say, you know what, they're going to come to me when they want my services, right? So the only time I've reached out to them is I send them an email once a year to say, hey, this is what we're doing. We're still doing these wellness services for faculty and staff, but I don't hound them every month. If there's somebody that is, continue to kick the can down the road, then reach out to them every 6 months and just be like, hey, just checking in, see if you want to, if you want to bring fly bodies on. So I think that was super helpful for me because it gives me more brain space to go after other customers that may be more interested. So finally, they reached out and said, we want to use fly bodies wellness services. Let's talk. And so now we've had a discussion, and hopefully in the spring, we're going to be doing something with the school. So that's number one. Lessons learned is, if they're not super interested in the beginning, maybe send them an email or reach out to every 6 months just to keep, the pulse, just to see if they're alive. And you don't want to waste too much time on somebody that's not a yes or a no. All right. The next thing that I learned this week, and this is not just groundbreaking or anything, but sometimes it's not necessarily the service that you're providing. The core service that you're providing is what people really enjoy about working with you or doing the service that you provide. And the example I give is this week when we did one of the workouts at the school, I played 90's music during the workout, and everybody loved just the going back in time and hearing the fun music that they used to listen to when they were younger, maybe in high school, college, or, as a young adult. And so I feel like that's something you need to understand and tap into is sometimes you need to build fun things around your service. Okay. Don't just think, okay, the workout is the most important part and we have to focus solely on the workout and making every second count at the workout. Well, I know that there's certain things about a workout that do suck, and you can focus on things outside of the workout, like the music. So that's something that I really focus heavily on, is trying to make the experience a fun one, and not because I know workouts aren't always fun. And something like doing a 30-minute HIIT workout is going to be something people dread. But if you're like, oh man, I know I'm going to get really fun, good music when I come to do the workout, and it's not going to be as bad, that's a perk. Okay. So we got, don't hold on or don't, waste your time with customers that are stringing you along. Then also the 90's music, don't always just strictly focus on your core service, focus on the things around it to make it even better. And then the last one is something that I've really, and this kind of goes into the first one, but something I've learned tremendously is in startup land, a week feels like a month in enterprise land or in a big school's world. And the reason why I say that is because when you're in startup mode or startup land, like every single day you are trying to make your product as good as possible or trying to get as many customers as possible because you're trying to grow and you're trying to actually get something out there that people are like, this is awesome. And so every week feels like it's such a big milestone is like, okay, what did we do at the end of this week? And how much growth did we make? And how much better did we make our product? Whereas in an enterprise or in a big school, they are not really thinking of a week to week basis of like growing or getting better and stuff like that. It's not a bad thing, but they move a little slower. And so it's just good to know from a psychological standpoint to say, you know what? I know schools move slower than what startups move. And we want to close the deal like now. We want people to get back to us yesterday. And whereas, in a enterprise setting, you have to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to give this a month. I'm going to give this 2 months. And that's like a week for them. Okay. Their timelines are way slower than a startup's timeline. And don't get me wrong. Obviously, if you have a kick-ass product, maybe they will move faster, but that is just something to understand is when an enterprise or a big school wants to invest in doing something, they have a lot of reputation on the line when they're wanting to do something new that they don't know specifically if it's going to work out or not. So they probably take a little more time to make the decision than you would like. So just know that. I think that's super helpful just from a, pace standpoint, because I'm always the type of person of like, all right, we got to get more done on our side, and the lights are going off, but we got to get more done on our side all the time and do it faster. And you just have to realize that other businesses that are bigger and that probably you want to get on are going to take a little longer time. But that doesn't mean you can say, hey, you can up their pace a little bit and say, hey, I'd love to talk to you a week from now, 2 weeks from now, or maybe next month, just to get the conversation going a little faster than it would and lighting a fire under their butts a little bit. So that's it. We got the customers. Keep good rapport with your potential customers. You never know if it's going to be the right time or if they have the right money. Always try to improve the things around your core service to make the core service even better. And then the last one is startup world moves way faster than enterprise world. And so you have to kind of know that and understand that. And then when you do get the chance to, this is the last thing, when you do get the chance to be in front of this enterprise world, you kind of want to crush it. Okay. Doesn't mean like if you don't crush it, you're going to lose the sale. But since you're not going to get an opportunity probably for another month, 2 months, 6 months, then the opportunity you do have, you have to be an understanding of this is my time to shine. I have to prep a lot for this and sell them while I have them on the phone. Okay. That's all I got, guys. Hopefully that's helpful. And hopefully you took something away from my business experience and use it to your advantage and go forth and conquer. Thanks for watching, guys. Get after it.